Hi there. Okay, so I have a couple of minutes. I'm going to start off at the beginning doing a little bit of a warm-up for you because a couple of people have requested that we add the warm-up in, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction to the workout, and I have a couple of notifications as well. So start by moving around a little bit, and most of my workouts you are going to be warming up before you start the exercise. I figure you guys have got cardio equipment at home. You don't need me to be walking you through a warm-up. You can most likely do it yourselves, but now and again I will throw a warm-up at the beginning for you to follow. So as of next week, these warm-ups, the workouts, the format is going to change slightly. So you are going to be signing up for them, so you'll have to contact me and then I will forward you the workout. You will get 3 to 4 workouts per week, and you will always have access to a month's worth of workouts. They'll be there for you with a description so you can choose what you want to be doing for your workout. All right, little jog on the spot. So this workout, mainly lower body and core, and for the workout, a mat. If you're on the grass, just a towel works fine. This is called a bender ball and mini band elastic. The bender ball, you can actually use a ball from the dollar store, a soccer ball, and just take a little bit of the air out, and that will work just fine for you. So starting off, we've got a lower body blast and then a core blast. First exercise, you are going to be using the mini band around your ankles, low side to side shuffle. So you're in a squat, staying as low as you can, going back and forth. And just in case anybody is wondering, last time my dog Holly didn't move for a full 2.5 minutes. You all thought she was a statue. She's just very calm. If she's really still, it probably means that she's after a squirrel. So, all right, so stay low, weight on the heels, bum stuck out behind. It's a bit of a squat, feeling it a little bit more on the outer side of the legs. So nice and low, nice deep breaths, ready to switch, and you're going onto the floor. So band is staying around your ankles. You are on all fours and leg out straight. Coming up, halfway, you'll switch to the other leg. Core pulled in nice and tight. This one you're going to feel a lot more in the back of the leg. So keep that back nice and straight. Abs pulled in tight. Breathing out on the way up, in on the way down. All right, halfway, switching over to the other side. Now, if you find that the band is rolling up on you, it's either because you're pointing your toe or your knee is bent. If you've got a straight leg and your toe is pointing down to the ground, you shouldn't be noticing the band rolling up. All right, I can't see my timer right now. Let me move my timer so I can actually see what we're doing, for how long. All right, next exercise, standing, arms out. Lateral leg lifts. Okay, nice, steady. This one is a challenge on balance. If you find you're wobbling around all over the place, doesn't mean you're doing the exercise wrong, just means that your balance isn't great. So even more reason why you want to be doing this one properly. A couple of things can help with balance. Focusing on one spot, halfway is one, so you're switching to the other leg. The arms out to the side will help also, and practice. The more you do this, the better you'll get. One leg you will find is a lot stronger than the other leg. You want to start off with the leg that you find is more challenging, the weaker leg. All right, back onto the floor. This one, the band is going to be right below your knees. You are knees 1 millimeter off the floor is a little harder. Knees on the floor is easier, and off you go. Again, keep the belly pulled in nice and tight. This is really working the butt muscles right now. Halfway, switch over to the other leg. Remember, the knee 1 millimeter off the ground makes it way harder. So if you need it to be easier, if you're finding it's too challenging, just pop your knee back on the ground. If you want to focus even more on bum, then lift the leg higher, hold it for a second, slowly lower back down. In order to do that, you probably need to have the knees on the ground. All right, last one. Band is going to stay below the knees. You're in a low, wide plie squat. So you see knees are pointing in the same direction as your toes, and you're going to do a heel raise, lower, lower, and then knees push wide, heel raises, heel lowers, push wide, wide. So the whole of this circuit would be a really good one for any athletes wanting to build those big glute muscles, the quads. They're muscles that sometimes end up getting a little neglected when you're doing the running and the skating. But if they're not strong, you're going to find you have issues in the hips and the lower back. All right, back to the start. So band back around the ankles, and you're doing those low side to side shuffles. All right, are you ready? You can admire my magnificent squat rack in the background, built by my teenage sons. They look a bit like cavemen when they're lifting this huge, great big barbell with a couple of tires either side. It's actually shockingly heavy. The bar they are using is filled with concrete, so the bar alone weighs, I don't know, probably 80 pounds. That's what they tell me anyway. All right, stay low, weight on the heels. Big movements, really work on stretching out. So this exercise is a lot easier if you are not using the band. If you need to make the exercise, this whole little circuit, in fact, easier, you would ditch the band. All right, you are doing on the floor straight leg lifts. You'll still be working a lot of muscle, but it just will be a lot less challenging, and you may be able to focus on form better. If you find you're losing your form with the band, ditch the band. All right, big lift. High as you can lift, slowly back down. Tippy toe should always be pointing downwards. If your tippy toe is pointing out to the side, then the chances are your hip has rotated. Halfway, hips should be parallel to the ground. And remember, leg straight, toe flexed. Don't point the toe. Pointing the toe means you're probably losing form, and again, the hips are probably rotating slightly. All right, standing up, those standing lateral leg lifts. Core pulled in, arms out. You're working a little bit of shoulders, having these arms out to the side. You could have a set of dumbbells in your hands if you wanted to add some extra upper body. This workout is off the bat of another one that had a lot of upper body, back, chest and arms. Hence, we're focusing on lower body today. It's such a gorgeous day out. Halfway, switch to the other leg. So the leg that's on the ground, knee should be very slightly bent, not locked straight. If it's locked straight, it means you are putting a lot more strain on the joint than if it is slightly bent. So be kind to your joints. All right, remember now, the band goes below the knees. You're on all fours, knees off the ground if you want to make it tougher. Fire hydrant, it's called. I always call it, or think it's more like, a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. All right, so big lift, slow lower. lift, slow lower. As you're lifting up, you're breathing out. As you're lowering, you're breathing in. And remember that knee 1 millimeter off the ground, halfway, makes the whole exercise a lot more challenging on the core. A lot more challenging all over, but the core particularly. Keep that back nice and straight. All right, back up and off the ground. You've got those deep plie squats. Nice and low. Remember, you're doing the heel raises and then the knees pushing out wide. So the knees should be as wide as you can go. Heel raises, back down, and then just pulse a little wider, up, down, pulse, pulse. Nice, slow, steady. Your body, you should be upright, so you're not leaning forwards. Trying to stay as upright as possible. Core pulled in, thighs as close to horizontal as possible. So this whole workout really feels it in the bum. Legs are getting it, bum is really getting it. Perfect, all right, back to the last round. Band around your ankles, low side shuffles. If you're outdoors like me, go further. Do a long way away and back in. All right, nice and low, remember. I'm only going as far as I can without going out of the screen or stepping on Holly. If you hear gunshots in the background, it's hockey shots. It's a puck. Don't be alarmed. We're not in the hood part of Greeley. Stay low. Seem to be getting further and further back here. I'm zigzagging, which is fine, as long as you don't have a camera fired up at you that you're going out of view. All right, straight leg lifts. Core nice and tight. Are you ready? Keep those elbows slightly bent as well. You're working your arms harder and saving your joints. Big lift, high as you can go. Slowly back down. Hey, Polly girl. Hello, puppy. She's very calm. She's a perfect breed of dog. If anybody wants to get a good dog, a golden doodle. Oh, no, she's going to block the screen. Perfect, off she goes. So look for squirrels. Keep that leg straight, remember. If the band starts to roll up, it probably means that your knee is slightly bent or your toe is pointed. Make sure your foot is flexed, toe pointing down. Perfect. All right, coming back up. Band stays around your ankle, standing lateral leg lifts. Arms out to the side. You can do arm circles as well if you can concentrate on circles with the arms. And leg lift. It's like patting your head and rubbing your belly. All right, big lift. Come on, you can go higher than that. Keep that leg straight. Remember this leg that you're standing on, slightly bent. Halfway. Again, this is another perfect weather day. There are no bugs right now. It's only a matter of time. You know they're coming. Another couple of warm weather days and they will be out. All right, on all fours, dog peeing on the fire hydrant. Back nice and flat. Core pulled in. Elbows slightly bent. Big lift. Slow lower. I have the band around my ankles for this one. It's actually supposed to be around the knees. Either way is fine. You can try both. I honestly prefer it around my knees. However, I can't be bothered to switch halfway. Halfway! You're going to feel it a little bit more in the glutes, the medial glutes, the part of your bum that doesn't get worked as hard when you're doing the big muscle exercises, the squats and the lunges. All right, last one, deep plies. Nice and low. I'm going to put the band around below my knees for this one. You really would lose a lot on this one if it was around your ankles. So remember, it's the heel raisers. Up, down, push out, out, up, down. I have just jinxed it. The bugs have just come out. Up, down, pulse, pulse. And when you are in the position before the pulse, your knees should be directly above your heels. So make sure your knees aren't falling in like that, right out there. So even before you do the pulse out, the knees, your shins should be vertical. And then when you pulse out, going a little bit further out than that. Really works those muscles, small muscles in the bum. Perfect. All right. Leg part done. Moving on to the core. All right, the next part, we're done with the band. Now you're going to be using the bender ball. So like I said, basically this is like a soccer ball, football if you're in England, and some of the air has been let out. So it's just a little bit softer, so it's squidgy. Starting off, the ball is going to be between your knees. So this is a tough exercise, cardiovascular one. You can make it easier just by holding a static plank and squeezing the ball between your knees. Harder version, side to side jumps. Come on, I want you doing the harder version. All right. Can you call her? She's so good usually. She's getting a little bored. Squeeze that ball, working the inner thighs a little more. Obviously you can do this exact same exercise without the ball. Doesn't change it dramatically, not this one. All right, next one. On your back, the ball is between your feet, knees at 90 degrees, reaching up to the heels, slowly back down. As you're lifting up, you're breathing out, lowering, you're breathing in. Try to make sure there's no movement in the legs. You're working your core. Lift up, slowly back down, breathe out. Breathe in. Slow, controlled movement. Make sure that your chin is not on your chest. Your head, you should be looking skywards. Try not to be rocking. That will just be momentum. Excellent. All right, the next one. Getting the position right for this one often can be the challenge. Basically, the ball is directly below my belly button. Arms across the chest is easier. Arms up here is harder. And then my legs are in a V. Straight, keeping feet on the ground. Lifting as high as you can go. As you breathe out, slowly lower as you breathe in. If you've never done this exercise before, halfway, I would suggest not switching sides halfway. Keep going, because it might be taking you 20 seconds to get in the right position. This one It's a good exercise. It works the sides here, the love handles, but getting the position right can be half the battle. All right, the next one, you are lying on your front and ball starts off above your head. As your legs go wide, you are bringing arms down, ball is passing, coming back up. Throughout, you are trying to keep your shoulder blades squeezed. Don't let your shoulders come up. This exercise, it looks a lot easier than it is. You're also lifting thighs and chest up and off the ground, and it's a very slow, controlled movement. If you have it right by the third round, you're doing well. So the ball, you are doing a full circle in one direction. Above the head, you are going back in the opposite direction. And as your hands are moving down, your legs are going wide. As your hands are coming back up, your feet are coming back together. All right, now the last one, flipping over onto your back, a little more straightforward, if not easier, which is definitely not easier. V-sits, ball pass, and back. Breathing out as you lift up, in as you lower, trying to keep your back straight and your legs straight. This one can be made a lot easier on the back by just keeping your legs up and in the air and reaching up and down. The leg lower part is by far the more challenging bit on the lower back. Breathe out on the way up, in on the way down. Excellent. All right, we're going back to the start. Those mountain climbers, side to side. All right, are you ready? I have a mat that I'm having to jump over. Actually makes it a little harder. Would be easier if my hands were at the end of the mat. However, then I would be out of the frame. So I'll suck it up for you guys. Losing my ball and my shoes. Think of that plank. Nice and flat. Knees come to the side. Back down. Knees to the side. Back down. Perfect, all right. Lying on your back, ball between your heels, reaching up, the knees are bent. You're reaching up towards your toes, just stopping losing a shoe. Okay, up and down. Nice, slow and steady. Try to keep the back straight. Chin up, not coming down onto the chest. And if you are outside and you have an uneven garden, if you want to make this hard, be going uphill, which is what I'm doing right now. Have bum higher than your shoulders. Extra challenge, it's a good one. How is it possible? The second I said there were no bugs, they all came out. Perfect, all right, that's side lying one again. So if you didn't switch sides last time, you're going to go on the opposite side this time. Remember, the legs are in a V. Equal amounts forwards and back. Arms here is harder. Across the chest is easier. And like I said, it's a surprisingly challenging exercise. Getting it right really does just take a lot of practice. Halfway, if you're switching. When you're doing 3 rounds, it's an exercise that takes a while to get into position. I usually say For the first round, do one side. Second round, do the other side. Only switch on the third round. Otherwise, you end up losing a lot of time on the switch and the reposition. All right, those front lying ones again. So I'll talk you through this one. Remember, it is a little bit awkward. There's a lot going on, but it's a great exercise for lower back. So start off, arms straight above head, feet together. You're lifting chest up, thighs up, and begin the movement. Arms slowly in a full circle as your legs are widening. Feet back together as your arms are coming back above your head. Keep shoulder blades squeezed, shoulders down. And you are doing a full 360 clockwise and a full 360 in the other direction. The slower you move, the wider your legs can go, the better you're squeezing your shoulder blades, the better the whole exercise is. Excellent. All right, onto your back. Ball starts off between your hands, and you're doing those V-sit ball passes. Are you ready? All right, breathing out on the way up, in on the way down. If you want to make this harder, don't put your feet down onto the ground. Keep them up the whole way through. The lower down to the ground you go, the tougher it gets, but not touching all together makes it the hardest. Excellent. All right, we got the final round. Those mountain climbers. Oh, you know you love them, really. I'm going to put my mat in the right position for this one. Ball between the knees. All right, try to do a good twist at the side. Knees rotated, bum close to the ground. Go a little faster. There's no cardio in this workout. So if you finish this one with a good run around the block, then you've got cardio and strength all taken care of. Seconds left. Excellent. All right. Number 2. Ball between my feet. Going downhill this time, just to see how downhill it is. Knees 90 degrees. Reach the heels. Slowly down. Oh, it makes a big difference. Okay, onto the side again. Remember, the positioning of the ball is kind of key. Should be right underneath. So if you were looking from the top, you can see it the same amount at the front as you can at the back. And then your hips are vertical. So you're not leaning backwards or forwards. They are vertical, perpendicular to the ground. Legs straight in a V. And the legs are kind of anchoring you to the ground. They're what allowing you to lift up and lower nice and smoothly, halfway. Don't be pulling on your head. You're just holding your hands there for a good position. All right, sea turtles, kind of. Windmills, I don't know. It's got to be a good name for this one. Great exercise, remember. It's a little tedious, but actually a lot more challenging than you think. So, arms coming down, legs out wide. Remember, chest and thighs. You are trying to lift off the ground. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Good breathing throughout. Every 360, you're changing the direction of the ball. Keep those shoulder blades squeezed. Really hard to do. Hard to keep the shoulder blades squeezed, and don't let your shoulders come up towards your ears. And you should be able to feel your shoulder rotating in the socket. And that movement is really good for a healthy shoulder joint, as long as there's no pain while you're doing it. All right, last one. On your back, in the V, ball passes. Try to be slow and controlled. Excellent. All right, we are nearly done. We just have a little bit. I thought I needed to sneak a little bit of cardio in to finish up. All right, the last one. So I said that we had no cardio, but I couldn't leave it with no cardio whatsoever. So this one, at risk of confusing you all completely, I've tried to make it as simple as possible. I've given you plenty of rounds. You got 5 of them to practice. And it's a great one for working on fast feet. Any athletes who need to focus on that, anybody who's not an athlete who doesn't need to focus on that, it's going to get your heart rate up. We are doing a figure of 8. So you have 4 cones, and you are starting off across to the right, up to the left corner, across to the right corner, back to the left, across to the right, up to the left, cross to the right, back to the left. So basically, you are doing a figure of 8. All right, now if you don't get it, you got 4 more rounds in which you will be able to practice. Just think of the figure of 8. You don't need the cones there, obviously. I have them there just for the demonstration. All right, next one. You're in a plank, doing hand taps on the cones, fast as you can go. This is your break. This is where you get your breath back and try and figure out what the hell you were just doing with that figure of 8. Keep that plank nice and steady. Don't let the bum rock from side to side. Core pulled in tight. If you need to be on the elbows for this, that would be fine too. Just a little rocky in the backyard. All right, back to that figure of 8. If it's blowing your mind completely, you can just do side to side. And hockey players, soccer players, athletes, come on, you're trying to get your feet moving as fast as possible. Figure of 8. Whatever direction you did it last time, try and do it the opposite way this time. It's about speed, agility, and strength. All right, back in the plank. Shoulder taps this time. Fast as you can go. was a long 30 seconds. All right, figure of 8 again. Remember, try to change direction this time. Oh, this is my bad direction. The other way I felt it was a lot more natural. So you want to work on the one that you find more challenging. You want to try and improve weaknesses rather than getting better at the part you're good at. Come on, you're trying to spring. Push off, push off. All right, back to the cone hand taps. If you're huffing and puffing away, you should be. All right, fast as you can go. Try not to let your bum wobble from one side to the next. All right, round 4. I think I only gave you 5 rounds. Okay, fast feet this time. Come on, stay low, push hard. Figure of 8. It's not that complicated. You're making your brain work as well as your body. Bring that foot all the way across. Might not look pretty, but you're working a lot of muscle, heart and lungs being one of them. Woo. Shoulder taps. Are you ready? Minute and a half left, Holly. Okay, last round. Come on, make it a good round. You're nearly finished. Push hard and fast. Speed and agility. Any hockey players? You've not been on the ice for a while, I know. Your hips have had the chance to rest and recover. Hockey players these days, a ton of them are getting hip issues. Something like this will really help. All right, last one, cone taps. This whole workout, it's probably not one of the most challenging workouts you've done, but there are a lot of areas which are really working on some of the smaller muscle groups that athletes are not always strengthening. Core being one, hip flexibility and strength being another. Okay, you are finished. Fabulous job. All right, thank you for joining me. I'm happy we were able to go outside. I hope you went outside too. And prepare yourself for the next one. There wasn't a lot of cardio here. So off you go, do your jog around the block, and next workout will be more cardio.